On the anniversary of our wedding. I drank the warm milk my husband handed me, and then I blacked out. When I woke up, my scalp felt ice cold. I looked into the mirror and saw that my head had been completely shaved. Worse still, there was a turtle drawn on it. The female student I had sponsored, Jong K, was holding a hair clipper, laughing so hard her whole body was shaking. "Sister-in-law, your head is so round," she said, grinning. "You look just like a boiled egg." My husband, Chu Yan, stood beside her, looking at her with indulgent affection. "Xiao Zhang is studying hairstyling," he said lightly. "She just used you to practice a bit. Hair grows back anyway, don't be so petty." I raised my hand and touched my bare scalp, staring at the man and woman who were treating my dignity like a joke. I laughed. "Practice, huh?" I said softly. "Fine, then I'll practice too, with the two of you." The smile on Chu Yan's face froze. Zhang K, the poor student I had sponsored for 3 years, was still giggling. "Don't be mad, sister-in-law," Brother Chu Yan said. "You're very generous." She shook the clipper in her hand. Strands of my hair were still stuck to it. I didn't look at her. My gaze settled on Chu Yan. "Chu Yan," I asked calmly, "was there sleeping medication in the milk?" His eyes flickered. "What nonsense are you talking about? You've just been tired lately and slept deeply." How impressive. Even drugging me was something he could brush off so lightly. I nodded, as if I understood. Then, right in front of both of them, I took out my phone and snapped a clear photo of my shaved head and the turtle drawn on my forehead. Chu Yan flew into a rage. "Lin Mo, have you lost your mind?" He rushed over, trying to grab my phone. I stepped back and slipped it into my pocket. "Don't touch me," I said. "This hairstyle is very meaningful. After all, it's a 5-year anniversary gift from you." I turned and walked into the dressing room, locking the door behind me. Outside, I heard Chu Yan pounding on the door, and Zhang K's syrupy voice. "Brother Chu, don't be angry. Sister-in-law probably just can't think straight right now. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have practiced on her." I ignored them. I opened the safe and took out my ID, household registration, property ownership certificates, and the prenuptial agreement. Back then, my father had been afraid I'd be deceived. He hired the best legal team and had every clause written clearly. My company shares, real estate under my name, and my premarital savings had nothing to do with Chu Yan. His company had been started with money I gave him. As for the luxury apartment we lived in, though it was registered under both our names, the down payment and renovation costs had all been paid by me. I packed everything into a plain backpack, changed clothes, put on a hat, and walked out. Chu Yan and Zhang K were sitting close together on the sofa, practically in each other's arms. When he saw me, Chu Yan stood up immediately, looking slightly flustered. "I've thought it through," he said, "as long as you delete the photo and apologize to Xiao K. We'll let this go." I looked at him as if he were a stranger. "Apologize?" I said. "Sure." I walked up to Zhang K. She shrank into Chu Yan's arms, looking at me in fear. "Sister-in-law." I slapped her. The sound echoed sharply. Her face swelled instantly, blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. She clutched her cheek, staring at me in disbelief. Chu Yan froze for a moment, then shoved me hard. "Lin Mo, are you crazy?" I crashed into the wall. My back throbbed with pain, but I stayed on my feet. "That slap," I said calmly, "was for myself. Thank you for letting me see clearly whether the person I've been sleeping next to all these years is a human being, or a dog." I didn't look back. I walked straight out the door. Behind me, Chu Yan shouted, "If you walk out that door, don't ever think about coming back." I stopped, turned around, and smiled at him. "This turtle on my head doesn't belong in your fancy doghouse. Don't worry, I'm not just leaving. I'll make sure you get kicked out too." I checked into a high-end hotel in the city center. The first thing I did was call my personal lawyer. "Lawyer Chen," I said. Help me prepare. I want a divorce. There was a pause on the other end, but he remained professional. Understood. Ms. Lin, what documents do you need? I want a full asset division. And I want to sue Chu Yan for intentional harm. Intentional harm? Yes. I sent him the photo I had taken the night before. The line was silent for a full minute. I understand, Lawyer Chen finally said. Rest assured, I'll handle it. After hanging up, I looked at myself in the mirror. The turtle on my forehead had been drawn with an oil-based marker. Water wouldn't wash it off, instead. It smeared, making me look even more ridiculous. I used makeup remover and wiped it away bit by bit, until my scalp turned red before it finally faded. Looking at my shaved head, I didn't cry. Tears are the most useless thing in the world. What I needed was to make them pay. The next morning, I went to the bank. Hello, I said, I'd like to freeze all bank cards under my name, including supplementary cards. After finishing the procedures, I stepped out of the bank and received a call from Chu Yan. Lin Mo, what do you think you're doing? Why did you block all my cards? Xiao Zhang saw a handbag she liked, and none of the cards worked. Do you know how embarrassed she was? I laughed softly. Oh, is that so? Then she's probably even more embarrassed now. Because from now on, if you want to spend even a single dollar of mine, you'll need my permission. Chu Yan was so furious he choked on his words. Don't forget, he snapped, half the company is mine. Is it? I replied leisurely. Are you sure you want to settle accounts with me over the company? When you started your business, I gave you 5 million. According to the prenuptial agreement. That was my personal asset. Gifted conditionally. I have the right to reclaim it at any time. Every transaction in the company's cash flow is recorded. How much money you took to support your mistress. How many luxury cars and watches you bought, if we investigate thoroughly. How much do you think you'll still be entitled to? I've been too generous with you. You forgot that everything you have was built on my sacrifices. You're just a dog I raised for amusement. Now the dog bites its owner. And I'm supposed to keep petting it? On the other end, there was only heavy breathing. Rage barely contained. Chu Yan was speechless. All these years, he had grown used to reckless spending. Used to my unconditional support. He had forgotten that everything he had came from me. Lin Mo, he finally asked, what exactly do you want? I don't want anything, I said calmly. I just want you to experience what it's like to have no money. Didn't you like practicing so much? Now it's my turn. My second target was Zhang Ke. A so-called innocent poor student, wearing a fake mask of hardship, spending other people's money without the slightest sense of guilt. She studies at university, a prestigious school. At first, I sponsored her because she had good grades. Thinking back now, it's honestly ridiculous. I went straight to the principal's office. Without an appointment, I was stopped by the secretary outside the door. Excuse me, ma'am, do you have an appointment? If not, the principal doesn't meet visitors. I smiled at her calmly. Please tell your principal that Lin Mo from the Lin Group is here to report a student with severely compromised ethics. Someone who acted as a mistress and committed financial fraud involving sponsorship funds. If he doesn't see me, then in the next minute, all this information will appear on University A's forum and in every local news outlet. The secretary's face went pale. She hurried inside. Less than 30 seconds later, the door opened. A balding middle-aged man walked out, his face full of forced warmth. Oh, Ms. Lin, please, come in, come in. I walked into the office and sat down on the sofa. The principal personally poured me a glass of water. Ms. Lin, just now you mentioned. I took a thick stack of documents from my bag and tossed them onto the desk. Principal, I don't want to waste time. 3 years ago, I began sponsoring a student from your School of Foreign Languages, Zhang Ke. This is the annual sponsorship certification. I pointed to the first document. These are her financial aid applications from each year. They clearly state that her parents were unemployed and chronically ill, that she had a younger brother still in school, and that the entire family survived on social welfare. The principal nodded. Yes, we're aware of Jong K. She has excellent academic performance and good character. She's one of the talents our university focuses on cultivating. Good character? I laughed softly. I took out a second stack of documents and threw them onto the desk. These are investigation results I had a private investigator gather overnight. Take a good look. Principal, this is the poor student with good character you're talking about. Hermes Birkin bags, each worth over 300,000. A Van Cleef & Arpels 4-leaf clover jewelry set worth over 100,000. This Patek Philippe watch, over 700,000. She also rents an apartment near campus for 20,000 a month. May I ask, how does a family living on social welfare afford these things? The principal picked up the photos, his hands trembling. This can't be right. Could there be some kind of misunderstanding? A misunderstanding? I pulled out my final card. A photo of Chu Yan and Jong K embracing intimately on the bed in my home, captured by my home security cameras. Principal, the man in this photo is my husband. Jong K used the money I gave her as sponsorship to get involved with my husband. Live in the house I bought, and then turn around and humiliate me. Is University a century-old prestigious institution, where students like this are trained? Do you teach them how to insert themselves into other people's families? How to become shameless mistresses? My voice wasn't loud, but every word landed like a hammer. The principal was sweating profusely. Ms. Lin, please calm down. Please calm down. The university was completely unaware of this matter. We will absolutely handle it seriously and give you a satisfactory explanation. I stood up. I don't need an explanation. I want results. In University A's regulations, how are students punished for falsifying backgrounds to obtain financial aid? For immoral conduct? I believe you know that better than I do. I want a campus-wide announcement. I want to see the official notice tomorrow. If not, where these photos and documents will end up, I can't guarantee. I put my hat on and turned to leave. Jong K, don't you value your reputation and future the most? I want to see what kind of future a mistress expelled from a prestigious university can possibly have. Things spread even faster than I expected. That very afternoon, University A's forum exploded. Breaking news. The famous, poor student, of our university turns out to be a high-end gold digger. Covered in luxury brands, and even destroyed the family of her own sponsor. Below the post were photos of Jong K carrying designer bags in luxury venues. Although key details were blurred, anyone who knew her recognized her immediately. The comment section erupted. Holy crap, isn't this Jong K, the foreign languages department beauty? Didn't she say she was so poor she couldn't even afford food? I saw her whining on WeChat about working part-time while studying. Turned around and bought Hermes. The worst part is stealing her benefactor's husband. This is basically the modern version of the farmer and the snake. Shame of University A, get out. Public opinion surged like a tidal wave. The university acted quickly to protect itself. The next morning, a red stamped notice was posted on the bulletin board. Disciplinary expulsion of Jong K, student of the School of Foreign Languages. The reasons were clearly listed: falsifying family background, fraudulently obtaining financial aid, improper personal conduct, and severely damaging the university's reputation. Looking at the photo a friend sent me, I felt calm. This was what she deserved. Not long after, my phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. It was Jong K. Her voice was choked with sobs, almost screaming. Lin Mo, did you do this? Why did you have to destroy me? I replied calmly, I only told the truth. The truth? She cried hysterically. What truth? Chu Yan and I truly love each other. You're the one, An old woman clinging to a position you won't let go of. An old woman? I laughed. Jong K, you're 21. I'm 30. When you reach my age, I wonder if you'll still have the confidence to let a 20-year-old girl point at you and call you an old woman. She fell silent for a moment, then said through clenched teeth. Don't be smug, Lin Mo. Chu Yan loves me. He'll divorce you soon and marry me. Is that so? I said lightly. Then I wish you happiness. But someone expelled from university. With her reputation completely ruined, do you think Chu Yan still needs you? The line went deathly silent. He froze in place. He stared at the police who had appeared out of nowhere, then slowly turned to look at me. His face was eerily calm. At that moment, he finally understood. This was a trap. A trap I had carefully designed just for him. Lin Mo, he muttered. Two police officers stepped forward, each grabbing one of his arms and forcing him down. Cold handcuffs snapped shut around the hands that had once handed me that drugged glass of milk. Chu Yan, an officer said formally, you are suspected of intentional harm. Please come with us. He was escorted away. As he passed me, he stared straight at me, his eyes filled with bitterness and resentment. You're ruthless, Lin Mo. I smiled at him calmly. I learned it from you. When you used me as practice. You should have thought about the day I'd do the same to you. The police siren blared loudly as the car sped away. Lawyer Chen walked over to my side. Ms. Lin, everything has been handled. The recording, the hospital's sleeping pill test results, and the medical assessment of your head injury are more than enough to convict him. I nodded. Thank you for your hard work, Lawyer Chen. The rest can proceed according to procedure. I want a divorce. Make him leave with nothing. This villa is my premarital property. Remove his name immediately. As for his company shares, I want all of them reclaimed. Lawyer Chen wrote everything down. Understood. It's all within the plan. Ms. Lin, what do you intend to do next? I turned to look at the place that was once called home. Now, all I saw was filth. Sell it. Everything here. I don't want any of it. The news of Chu Yan's detention quickly reached his parents. That night, my phone rang. It was my mother-in-law. The moment I answered, a storm of shouting exploded through the receiver. Lin Mo, you curse bringer, what did you do to our Chu Yan? He's your husband. How could you send him to the police station? Is your heart made of stone? I held the phone a little farther away, waited for her to finish screaming, then spoke flatly. Mom, maybe you should first find out what he did to me. What could he have done? She snapped. At most, it was just a joke. Shaving a bit of hair, so what? Men shave their heads all the time. Did you really need to blow this up and push your own husband toward ruin? Her voice was sharp and vicious. Lin Mo, I'm telling you right now, go to the police station immediately and withdraw those ridiculous accusations. Bring Chu Yan back to me. If you don't blame me for being unpleasant. I laughed. This was exactly how the Chu family was, never caring about right or wrong. Only blindly protecting their own. Mom, first, I will not withdraw the case. Second, if he broke the law, he deserves legal punishment. Third, I am divorcing him. There was a brief silence, then an even louder explosion of screaming. Divorce? How dare you, Lin Mo, don't push your luck. Once you married into the Chu family, you became one of us. Divorce is not an option. Or what, is there another man outside? So you're desperate to kick Chu Yan away? I didn't bother arguing further. Whether I have someone else or not is irrelevant. What matters is that your son kept a mistress and even brought her into the house. He spent my money to buy her a home, cars, designer bags. He drugged me because of her. Mom, your son is clearly very capable. An old woman like me isn't worthy of him anymore. Why don't you hurry and find him a young, pretty new wife? I hung up and blocked the number. I knew they wouldn't let this go easily. Sure enough, the next morning, my parents-in-law barged straight to my parents' home. My parents were gentle, educated people. They had never experienced anything like this. The two elderly people sat on the ground in front of the house, crying and wailing, causing neighbors to come out and watch. They kept repeating the same phrases. Our son was seduced by a vixen. Lin Mo failed as a wife. Not only did she not advise her husband properly, she even sent him to jail. How vicious. Parents-in-law, teach your daughter better. My father was so furious he nearly had a heart attack. My mother was crying in shock. When I arrived, the scene was pure chaos. My mother was supporting my father, her face pale. My parents-in-law were sitting on the ground, pounding their legs and crying loudly. I stepped forward and stood in front of my parents. If you have something to say it to me. The moment my mother-in-law saw me, she sprang up like she'd seen an enemy and lunged toward me, trying to grab my hair. You shameless woman, you still dare show your face? Her hand swung through the air and grabbed nothing. Only then did she remember my head was shaved. The atmosphere instantly turned awkward. I looked at her coldly. You want to hit me? Fine. Let the neighbors see how the Chu family treats their daughter-in-law. And let the police see how you're obstructing justice and threatening a victim. I took out my phone and pretended to dial the police. My father-in-law panicked and quickly restrained his wife. Enough. Enough. Stop making a scene. He turned to me, switching to a falsely gentle tone. Xiao Mo, we're family. Let's talk this through calmly. Chu Yan was just confused for a moment. Give him another chance. We guarantee that once he's out, he'll cut off that girl completely and live properly with you. I looked at his hypocritical face and felt nothing but disgust. I gave him 5 years of chances. Did he cherish them? Did he ever treat me as his wife? When I was drugged, humiliated, shaved, where was your good son? When he took my money to support a mistress, buy luxury goods and houses, where were you? Now that he's in trouble, you finally show up to beg. It's too late. I pointed at the door. Get out of my house. Don't ever let me see you again. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to report you for harassment as well. My momentum stunned them into silence. My mother-in-law still wanted to speak, but my father-in-law dragged her away. I watched their unsteady backs as they left, then turned to support my parents. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry you had to go through this. My father patted my hand and sighed. Silly child, we're fine. Divorce is a good thing. That kind of family isn't worth it. My mother looked at my shaved head, her eyes red. Will your hair grow back? I smiled and touched my head. Yes, Mom, old things go so new ones can come. Hair is like that, people are too. After dealing with the Chu family, I turned my attention to Zhang Kei. After being expelled, she disappeared immediately. With Chu Yan arrested and her financial backer gone, her life was clearly not easy. But I had no intention of letting things end so simply. I instructed lawyer Chen to send her a legal notice, accusing her of defamation and invasion of privacy. The reason? She colluded with Chu Yan to shave my head and draw humiliating images on it while I was unconscious. And even attempted to take photos to spread online. This was no longer just a moral issue, it was a legal one. Soon after, Zhang Kei called me. This time, there was no arrogance or hysteria left in her voice. She was terrified, begging. Sister-in-law, no. Ms. Lin, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please forgive me. I have nothing left. I've been expelled. If my parents find out, they'll beat me to death. I won't dare do it again. I'll do anything for you. Just please withdraw the case. I listened to her cheap sobbing without the slightest ripple of emotion. Only now she knew fear? When she held the clippers over my head, why didn't she think about consequences? Zhang Kei, I said calmly, your biggest mistake was touching me. She sobbed harder. It was Chu Yan who forced me. He told me to do it. He said he just wanted to see you embarrassed. I had no choice. Blaming others already. Typical, dogs biting dogs. Mouths full of fur. Oh, I said lightly. So he forced you to accept those luxury bags? Forced you to live in that upscale apartment? Forced you to complain online about being poor while showing off a lavish life? Stop pretending you're innocent. I know exactly what kind of person you are. And you should know too. You enjoyed the material benefits he gave you. Now you should be prepared to pay the price. On the other end, she was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Ms. Lin, I really know I was wrong. I'll return everything, all of it. I'll kneel if you want. I can't have a criminal record. I'm still young. I can't be ruined like this. Too late. I cut her off coldly. The moment you pressed those clippers against my scalp, your future ended. See you in court. I hung up. I would not pity her. Those who are pitiful always have something hateful about them. Today's outcome was entirely of her own making. If I softened now, she would step on me again just like before. Mercy toward enemies is cruelty toward oneself. I paid for this lesson with an entire shaved head. The trial proceeded smoothly. Against Chu Yan, witness testimony and physical evidence were overwhelming. He couldn't deny it even if he wanted to. The charge of intentional harm was established. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Because the injury wasn't severe, this was considered lenient, but for someone as arrogant as Chu Yan, prison was worse than death. In the divorce case, I won decisively. Chu Yan was the at-fault party, adultery and domestic abuse. With clear evidence, the court ruled that he left with nothing. The villa and all assets under my name had nothing to do with him. As for the company he struggled to build, because the initial capital came from me. And because he had embezzled large sums over the years. After investigation and settlement, not only did he receive nothing, he owed the company a substantial amount. On the day of sentencing, Chu Yan completely lost control in the courtroom. He pointed at me, his eyes bloodshot. Lin Mo, you're vicious. I won't let this go. Across the gallery, I looked at him calmly. Then came broken, desperate sobbing, choking in her throat. I hung up. Almost immediately, Chu Yan called. Clearly, he already knew what had happened to Zhang Ke. Lin Mo, are you insane? How could you treat Xiao Ke like this? She's still a student. She got expelled. You destroyed her entire life. I leaned back against the soft sofa in the hotel and poured myself a glass of red wine. Chu Yan, you're wrong. The person who destroyed her wasn't me, it was you. You made her believe that relying on a man could give her everything. You twisted her values and stripped her of any sense of shame. And now you feel sorry for her? When the two of you drugged me and shaved my head, why didn't you remember she was still a student then? Chu Yan was rendered speechless. He breathed heavily, his voice turning vicious. Fine, very impressive. Lin Mo. You think freezing my cards and crushing Xiao Ke means you've won? Let me tell you, it's not that easy. Where are you? Come back right now. I gently swirled the wine in my glass. Chu Yan, you still don't understand the situation. It's not you telling me to come back. It's me telling you to get out. I'm waiting at the house. You'd better come back immediately. We're going to talk this through. His voice was dark and threatening. If you don't, you'll bear the consequences yourself. I laughed softly. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. I'm still missing solid evidence to make you admit to drugging me. Fine, I'm on my way. I turned on the voice recorder and slipped it into my pocket. Then called Lawyer Chen. Lawyer Chen, you can prepare to call the police. Intentional harm, plus unlawful confinement, enough to put him away. Lawyer Chen's voice was calm. What about evidence? We need a clear confession. Don't worry, I said, he'll say it himself. I drove back to the familiar villa. From afar, I saw Chu Yan's car parked outside. The moment he saw me, he stubbed out his cigarette and strode over, grabbing my wrist. Lin Mo, you finally showed up. He squeezed hard, pain shooting through my arm. Let's go inside and talk. He dragged me in. I didn't resist, just looked at him calmly. Why the rush, Chu Yan? He shoved me inside and locked the door. Fine, let's talk. What do you want? He advanced step by step, his gaze aggressive. How are you going to compensate Xiao Kei? You'll go to her university. Apologize. Demand they revoke the decision. And give her money so she can study abroad. I burst out laughing. Chu Yan, did you get kicked in the head? You want me to apologize to a mistress and pay for her to study abroad? He ignored me and continued. And restore my bank cards immediately. Don't interfere with the company either. If you do these things, I can pretend none of this ever happened. We can go back to how things were. Chu Yan, I said calmly, did you forget? You were the one who handed me the milk with sleeping pills. His expression changed instantly. He stared at me, panic flashing through his eyes, followed by exposed rage. Yes, I put sleeping pills in it. But it was a small dose. We just wanted to joke around. Was it really necessary to make such a big deal? I let out a cold laugh and pulled a recording pen from my pocket, shaking it in front of him. Chu Yan, want to guess whether I recorded that? Do you think the way you just lost control looks like a criminal who's been exposed? He stared at the recorder, his pupils shrinking. The next second, he lunged at me like a madman. You vicious woman, you dare trick me? I had prepared in advance and dodged. He missed and slammed hard into the coffee table. The loud crash drove him into even greater fury. He sprang up, eyes bloodshot, charging at me again. This time, I didn't dodge. Just as he was about to reach me, the villa door was kicked open from outside. Several uniformed police officers rushed in. Police, don't move. Lawyer Chen stepped forward, pointing straight at Chu Yan. Officers, it's him. He drugged my client and assaulted her. Just now, he was about to attack her again. Chu Yan stood frozen, completely stunned. Not until he was forcibly dragged away by the judicial police did my face show even the slightest change in expression. Jiang Kei didn't escape either. She couldn't afford a competent lawyer. And in the face of the airtight evidence prepared by Attorney Tran, she had no room to fight back at all. The court ruled that she must issue a public apology and pay 100,000 yuan in compensation for emotional distress. It wasn't a large sum, but it was more than enough to make her already struggling life even more miserable. More importantly, there would now be a permanent stain on her personal record. From that point on, whether applying for jobs or taking civil service exams, she would always be affected. The way I demanded her apology was also very specific. I required her to handwrite a 1,000-word apology. Then post it on the same account she had previously used to complain about poverty and hardship, and pin the post for a full month. She was extremely unwilling, but under the court's compulsory order, she could only comply. The apology was written in a very dramatic tone, portraying herself as a shallow young woman whose judgment had been clouded by love and blinded by vanity. The comment section was still filled with harsh criticism, but none of that mattered to me anymore. I had won, completely. I anonymously donated the 100 yuan compensation to University A and established a new scholarship fund, dedicated solely to students who were truly poor and of good character. After everything was done, the heavy weight in my chest finally lifted. I sold the villa as well, along with all the furniture inside. I didn't want to keep a single trace connected to Chu Yan. After that, I gave myself a long vacation. I went to Tibet, gazing at the Potala Palace by Lake Namso. I took off my hat and let the highland wind pass through my newly grown hair. It had grown out into a soft, short layer, brushing against my scalp like tender grass. I looked at my reflection in the lake. In the water was a woman with short hair, a bare face, clear and steady eyes, completely different from the gentle, patient Lin Mo of the past. I smiled. This version was better. After returning from the trip, I began a new life. I poured all my energy into work. At my father's company, where I had previously been a shareholder in name only, I officially took over management. At first, many longtime employees didn't accept me. I was young, and I was a woman. Especially when I showed up to work with very short hair. The whispers became even louder. Did the heiress snap or something? Why is she wearing a men's haircut? I heard she divorced her husband. Must have been a messy breakup. A woman should stay home. Why is she coming to the company to cause trouble? I heard it all, but I didn't take it to heart. I proved myself with action. I stayed up 3 nights in a row to produce a completely new project proposal. And successfully secured a cooperation deal with a major European client. This client had been pursued by the company for over half a year with no results. At the celebration banquet, the senior executives who had once spoken harshly to me all raised their glasses to congratulate me. President Lin, young and talented, we're old now, the company will depend on you from here on. President Lin, I toast to you, please forgive us for any disrespect before. I raised my glass and drank it down. You are all pillars of the company. I'll still need your guidance in the future. I didn't make things difficult for them. That's how the workplace is. Competence is the only real authority. If you deliver results, people respect you. If you don't, nothing you say matters. The busy workload left me no time to dwell on the past. My hair gradually grew out, from a buzz cut to a clean, sharp short style. The stylist said, "Your facial features are sharp. This look suits you very well. It's cool and powerful." It felt like I had finally found a better version of myself. One day, while I was in a meeting, my secretary knocked and handed me an invitation. President Lin, this is from the Chu family. I opened it. It was an invitation to Chu Yan's father's 60th birthday banquet. I gave a cold laugh and tossed it straight into the trash. From now on, anything sent by the Chu family, throw it away. Don't show it to me. Yes. The secretary left. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. A few days later, my former mother-in-law blocked me outside my company. She looked far more worn down than before, gray streaks visible at her temples. When she saw me, she forced a pleading smile. "Xiao Mo." I ignored her and walked past. She hurried after me and grabbed my arm. "Xiao Mo, don't go. I'm begging you for one thing. I'm not anything to you." I shook her hand off. She didn't get angry and stepped forward again. "Xiao Mo, Chu Yan is about to be released. 1-year sentence, he got 2 months reduced for good behavior. When he comes out, he'll have nothing. He lost his job, his father had a stroke from the stress and is still in the hospital." As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. "Our family is completely broken now. Xiao Mo, I know we were wrong before. We wronged you. Please, for old time's sake, help him just once. Arrange a position for him in your company, anything. As long as he can make a living." I stopped and looked at her. Old ties? Between him and me, there was no such thing anymore. Everything he was facing now was self-inflicted. So was theirs. Helping him? That was a fantasy. Go back and tell him never to appear in front of me again for the rest of his life. Otherwise, if I see him once, I'll deal with it once. I thought my words were cold enough. I was wrong again. After Chu Yan was released, he still came to find me. That day, after work, I saw him waiting outside the company gate. He had lost a lot of weight. His skin was dark and dull. He wore a cheap, ill-fitting suit, his hair was cut short, and his eyes were cautious and ingratiating. A year in prison had worn away all his arrogance. When he saw me, he rushed over. "Xiao Mo." I frowned and stepped back. He rubbed his hands and forced a smile. "Xiao Mo, I know I was wrong. I was awful before. I failed you. Can you give me another chance? Let's remarry. I swear I'll treat you well from now on. I'll never associate with those bad people again. I looked at him like he was a joke. Chu Yan, did prison damage your brain too? You think someone like you, who cheated, was abusive, and even went to prison, is someone Lin Mo would ever want? My words were like knives. His face instantly turned pale. Xiao Mo, you can't treat me like this. My father had a stroke. My mother is seriously ill. We've spent all our money. I have nothing left. You're my only option. He started playing the emotional card. Too bad, I said coldly. My heart has already turned to steel. That's your problem. It has nothing to do with me. When you treated me like a fool, you should have thought about today. I walked around him toward my car. Suddenly, he rushed forward and hugged me tightly from behind. Xiao Mo, don't go. The smell of sweat and cigarettes made me nauseous. I struggled hard. Let go. No. Xiao Mo, I love you. I can't lose you. He held on even tighter. Just then, a black Bentley stopped beside us. The door opened, and Attorney Tran stepped out of the driver's seat. Seeing the scene, his face darkened immediately. He strode over, grabbed Chu Yan's arm, and forcefully pulled him away from me. Let go of President Lin. Chu Yan staggered back a few steps before regaining his balance. When he saw it was Attorney Tran, he froze, then his eyes filled with resentment. It's you again. Lin Mo, is this your new lover? I just went to prison and you already replaced me? Attorney Tran stepped in front of me, his voice cold. Mr. Chu, watch your words, otherwise, I will file another defamation lawsuit against you. Intimidated by his presence, Chu Yan shrank back, though his mouth stayed stubborn. This is between my wife and me. What does it have to do with an outsider like you? Your wife? I stepped out from behind Attorney Tran. Chu Yan, there has been no home between you and me for a long time. He is my lawyer and my friend. And you, if you dare harass me again, I won't hesitate to send you back to prison. Chu Yan's expression completely collapsed. He was afraid. He glared at me, then at Attorney Tran beside me, fear evident in his eyes. In the end, he didn't dare say another word and slunk away. Watching his thin, defeated figure leave, I felt no satisfaction. Only disgust, like I had just swallowed a live fly. Attorney Tran turned to look at me, his voice gentle. President Lin, are you okay? I shook my head. I'm fine. Thank you, Attorney Tran. It was nothing. He smiled. Get in the car. I'll take you home. I didn't refuse. Sitting in the car, watching the city lights streak past the window, I suddenly felt a wave of exhaustion. Attorney Tran, I said quietly, do you think I'm a failure? I chose the wrong person and wasted 5 years of my youth. He kept his eyes on the road, driving steadily. President Lin, that wasn't your fault, he said calmly. Stopping in time is already a form of great success. He paused briefly, then continued. Besides, you didn't waste your time. You simply took a course, one that was a bit more expensive than most. I tilted my head to look at him. Under the streetlights, his sharp features were softened in a way that felt unexpectedly gentle. I laughed. That's right, just a course. The tuition was expensive, but fortunately, I've already graduated. After that day, Chu Yan never came to bother me again. I heard that he found a job doing heavy labor at a construction site. Exhausted every day, his parents, trying to repay the debt he owed the company, sold their house back in their hometown and moved to the city, renting a tiny room in a rundown neighborhood. As for Zhang Kei, after paying me the 100 yuan compensation, she completely disappeared. Some people said her parents broke her leg and locked her at home. Others said she couldn't accept her fate and ran off to another city, working as a hostess in some nightclub. None of it had anything to do with me anymore. Whether their lives were good or bad could no longer stir even the smallest ripple in my heart. My own life had returned to its proper path. Under my leadership, the company continued to grow stronger and more stable. My hair had grown long again. I lightly permed it, dyed it a new color. I started working out, learning flower arranging, learning wine tasting. I filled my schedule to the brim, making each day full and meaningful. Attorney Tran and I gradually grew closer. He was no longer just a lawyer I contacted by phone, but a friend. We had dinners together, watched movies, talked about work and life. He was knowledgeable, humorous, and impeccably courteous. Being around him gave me a sense of ease I had never felt before. Today was my birthday. I didn't plan a big celebration, just a simple dinner with a few close friends. Attorney Tran came as well. The gift he gave me was a small, elegant box. When I opened it, inside was a pair of exquisitely crafted earrings from a niche brand I really liked. "How did you know I like this style?" I asked, a little surprised. He smiled softly, his ears turning slightly red. "I guessed." After dinner, he drove me home. When we arrived downstairs, I was about to get out of the car when he suddenly called my name. Lin Mo. It was the first time he had called me by my name. Not President Lin. I turned to look at him. In the darkness, his eyes were unexpectedly bright. "May I pursue you?" he asked quietly, with a hint of nervousness. I looked at him, my heart skipping a beat. I didn't answer right away. I simply smiled, leaned over, and gently placed a kiss on his cheek. "What do you think?" I said softly. He froze for a few seconds, then joy flooded his face. He smiled like a child who had just been given candy. Outside the car window, the moonlight was radiant. I knew that my life had opened to a new chapter. That night, the night I was shaved bald, humiliated, marked like a nightmare, had finally drifted far into the past. Now, standing in front of the mirror, was a version of me that was stronger, better, and worthy of being loved. Hair can grow back. Loving the wrong person can be undone. As long as you don't give up on yourself, life will always leave room for a new beginning. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.